On May 13, 2015, one of the most horrific murders in the country took place in the city of Cochabamba, Bolivia. On this day, 2 members of the Adriazal family were brutally killed. Of course, the whole country was shocked, but the more disturbing information in this case was who committed these crimes. Absolutely. May 13, 2015. Cochabamba, Bolivia. The sun dips behind the Andes. The air is thick with the scent of jasmine and damp earth. Somewhere in a quiet neighborhood on the northern edge of the city, a family gathers in their modest home. A warm cup of hot chocolate. A daughter who dreams of gold. A son who hides a storm behind his smile. And a mother who will soon scream into the night. By dawn, the house will be a tomb. 2 bodies. 2 lives extinguished in silence. And one of the most shocking betrayals in South American criminal history will be born. This is not just a murder. It's a family's collapse. A brother's jealousy. A lover's deception. And a dream that died in blood. This is the story of Gloria Adrizola, a champion. And Omar Adrizola, a monster. Welcome to The Betrayal. Part 1. A family of discipline and dreams. In the highlands of Bolivia, where the air is thin and the mountains stand like ancient gods, a quiet strength runs through the people. It is not loud. It is not flashy. It is endurance. And in the city of Cochabamba, nestled in a fertile valley at 2,500 meters above sea level, one family embodied that strength. The Adrizola family. Fernando Adrizola was not a man of wealth. But he was a man of purpose. An instructor of Taekwondo, he had earned his black belt through years of relentless training. He didn't just teach kicks and punches. He taught discipline, honor, and self-respect. To Fernando, Taekwondo was not just a sport. It was a philosophy, a way to build character, a shield against the chaos of the world. He lived by its code, and he passed it on, especially to his children. His wife, Gloria Busta, was a woman of quiet power. Small in stature, but immense in spirit. She spent her days tending to a small plot of land behind their home, growing flowers and herbs. Her hands were calloused from work, but her heart was soft. She believed in family, in loyalty, in love. Together, they raised 3 children. Peggy, the eldest, gentle, kind, burdened by a neurological condition that limited movement on her left side. Gloria Adri, the second daughter, radiant, athletic, a rising star. Omar, the youngest, strong, ambitious, but simmering with something darker. They were not rich, but they were united. And in a country where violence is too often the norm, their home was a sanctuary. Until it wasn't. Gloria, the champion who dared to dream. Gloria Adrizola was born on March 23, 1992. From the moment she could walk, she moved with grace. She was flexible, fast, focused. Her father saw it early. She has the spirit, he would say. She fights not to win, but to grow. At age 12, she began training in Taekwondo. Not just training, devouring it. She studied every technique. She pushed through pain. She never quit. And soon, the medals followed. By 18, she was a national champion. Her kicks were sharp. Her movements fluid. She had a rare combination of power and precision. But Gloria was not just a fighter. She was a light. Her teammates adored her. She made people laugh. She saw the good in everyone. Even when life was hard, she smiled. And now, at just 20 years old, she was on the brink of her greatest dream. She had qualified, the only Bolivian athlete selected, to represent her country at the 2015 Pan American Games in Toronto. This was not just a tournament. It was a chance to shine on the world stage. To bring honor to Bolivia. To make her family proud. Every day, she counted down the days. She imagined standing on the podium. The anthem. The gold medal. The tears in her mother's eyes. But while Gloria dreamed, her brother watched. And in the shadows of that dream, jealousy took root. Omar, the brother who felt forgotten. Omar Adrizola was born in 1995, 3 years after Gloria. He also trained in Taekwondo. He also earned his black belt. He also became an instructor at the same club. But no matter how hard he tried, he was never her. Gloria was the champion. Gloria was the star. Gloria was the one the media wanted to interview. Gloria was the one who traveled abroad. Gloria was the one whose photo was in the local paper. And Omar, he was Gloria's brother. Worse, he felt it at home. His parents bought Gloria new gear. They praised her victories. They planned her trips. But for Omar, it was study harder, train more, be like your sister. He began to resent her, not because she was better, but because she made him feel invisible. And then there was Alejandra Saavedra. Alejandra was 17 when she met Omar. She enrolled in his Taekwondo academy. She was instantly drawn to him, his strength, his confidence. And he to her. They began a secret relationship. Forbidden, because their families disapproved. But love, when it burns in secret, burns hotter. Alejandra adored Omar. But she also saw his darkness. He was controlling. He belittled her. He made her feel small. And when she tried to pull away, he pulled her back. She began to suffer from depression. So severe, she was hospitalized for a time. But when she came out, she returned to him. Because love, even when it hurts, can feel like the only truth you have. And Omar made her a promise. One day, we'll be free. We'll have our own life. And no one will stand in our way. But the only way to be free was to destroy the family. The plan, a pact in the shadows. By October 2014, Omar had made a decision. He would kill his family. Not in a moment of rage. Not in madness. But in cold, calculated planning. He confided in Alejandra. At first, she resisted. But he wore her down. He told her, "They don't understand us. They'll never let us be together. If we want a future, we have to take it." They decided to make it look like a failed robbery. A break-in. A violent crime. Nothing to point back to them. To the outside world, they pretended to break up. Omar even started dating a younger girl, Ariana, to create an alibi. But in secret, they stayed in contact. Texts, calls, hidden meetings. And they began to plan. Their target? The entire family. Fernando, the father, a black belt, strong. Gloria Busta, the mother, a fighter in her own right. Gloria Adri, the sister, a national champion, dangerous if provoked. Peggy, the older sister, vulnerable, but a witness. All had to go. But they couldn't fight them. They had to trap them. So Omar came up with a solution. Sedatives. On May 13, 2015, the plan began. Part 5. The Night of the Poisoned Chocolate. It started like any other day. Gloria Busta prepared a warm cup of chocolate for her family. A small comfort. A ritual. But Omar and Alejandra had already bought 5 veterinary sedatives from a local animal clinic. Drugs strong enough to knock out a large dog. Alejandra crushed the pills. Omar slipped them into the hot chocolate. They waited. Fernando drank his cup. Soon, he began to feel dizzy. He told his wife he wasn't feeling well. Then, he collapsed. Gloria Busta panicked. She called for help. Gloria Adri ran to find Omar, but his door was locked. Minutes later, Omar emerged. Together, he and his mother rushed Fernando to the hospital. Peggy stayed home. She sat in the living room, watching TV. And Gloria Adri? She stayed behind too. She felt drowsy. She told her mother she needed to sleep. But she didn't want to go to the hospital. So her mother asked Omar to drive her home. They arrived. Gloria went to her room. She took off her jacket. Then, she stepped into the backyard. Maybe to use the bathroom. That's when Omar attacked. He grabbed her from behind. Tried to strangle her. But Gloria was strong. Even drugged, she fought. She broke free. She tried to run. Omar punched her in the face, knocking out a tooth. Then, he and Alejandra, who had been hiding in his room, pounced on her with knives. She fought like a warrior. She grabbed Alejandra by the hair. She screamed. But she was alone, overpowered, and bleeding. She fell, and they stabbed her 20 times. Then they went for Peggy. Peggy was still in the living room. She heard nothing. She saw nothing. Alejandra grabbed a knife from the kitchen. She entered the room, and with cold precision, she slit Peggy's throat. 5 stab wounds to the chest, 4 to the neck. Her trachea, thyroid, and neck vessels were severed. She bled out in seconds. The house was silent. The mother's return. A nightmare unfolds. Back at the hospital, Gloria Busta waited. Fernando was being treated for heart arrhythmia. The doctors decided to keep him overnight. She needed his documents. She called Omar. He said he'd bring them. But he didn't. So she took a taxi home. When she arrived, she saw a slim girl run from the yard into Omar's room. She thought it was Ariana, his new girlfriend. She didn't think much of it. She walked into the house. And then she saw Gloria. Her daughter was lying in the backyard, face down, covered in blood, her clothes soaked. Glow. Ria Busta screamed. She tried to wake her. No response. She ran to Omar's room to find the girl she saw. But the door slammed shut. And there, blocking her, was Alejandra, wearing bloody surgical gloves, holding a knife. Gloria Busta realized. This was no robbery. This was her son's doing. She fought. She begged. She screamed for Peggy. Alejandra told her. She can't hear you. Gloria Busta attacked. She grabbed Alejandra by the hair. She fought like a lioness. In the struggle, 200 Boliviano fell from Alejandra's pocket. Money stolen from Gloria Busta's drawer. Finally, Gloria Busta broke the door. She ran through the house. And found Peggy. Dead. She tied Alejandra up with a rope. Dragged her to the door. And screamed for help. Neighbors came running. Police arrived. Omar returned at 4 a.m. He found his mother holding Alejandra. He played shocked. He played heartbroken. But the evidence was already piling up. The investigation, blood, lies, and footprints. The crime scene was a nightmare. Peggy, 9 stab wounds. Throat completely cut. Gloria Adri, 20 stab wounds. Tooth missing. Signs of a brutal struggle. Blood trails leading to Omar's room. A backpack filled with 2 bloody knives. Surgical gloves. A laptop. A phone. A snakeskin wallet with another knife. The police found Omar's clothes in the washing machine, stained with blood. Security footage from the veterinary clinic showed Omar and Alejandra buying the sedatives. Phone records proved they were in constant contact, not broken up at all. And most damning, a shoe print at the scene matched Omar's sneakers, the same ones found in the washing machine. But Alejandra held out. She refused to name Omar. She told police, "I did it alone." Why? Because she still loved him. But Omar, he blamed her entirely. He said, "I came home and found her covered in blood. She killed my sisters." He even cried in interviews. He demanded justice. But the truth was closing in. The trial, when love becomes a weapon. On May 15, 2015, Alejandra was arrested. On May 22, Omar was too. The trial began on February 22, 2016. The prosecution presented 48 witnesses, over 40 pieces of evidence, forensic reports, video footage, text messages, testimony from Alejandra, who finally broke and told the truth. She said, "Omar was jealous of Gloria. He wanted the land. He wanted to be free. And he made me help him." She described the sedatives, the plan, the betrayal. Omar sat in silence, head down. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. On March 17, 2016, the verdict: guilty. Both Omar Adrizola and Alejandra Saavedra were sentenced to 30 years in prison, the maximum for double homicide in Bolivia. No parole. Alejandra wept. Her family cried. Omar said nothing. He only hugged his aunt. And then he was led away. The aftermath. A nation in mourning. Gloria Adrizola never made it to the Pan American Games. But Bolivia never forgot her. A memorial was built in her honor. A scholarship was created for young female athletes. And every year on May 13th, flowers are laid at the gate of her family's home. Her dream died, but her legacy lives. As for Omar, he remains in prison. He has never shown remorse. Alejandra, once a victim of manipulation, is now serving her sentence. A reminder that love can be twisted into violence. And the family. Gloria Busta and Fernando survived. But they carry a pain no words can heal. They lost 2 daughters. And the son they raised became a killer. The psychology of betrayal. What turns a brother into a monster? How does a man kill his own sisters? How does a son murder his parents' dreams? The answer lies in 3 poisons. Jealousy. The belief that someone else's success diminishes your own. Entitlement. The idea that you deserve what others have earned. Narcissism. The inability to see anyone else's pain but your own. Omar saw Gloria's success not as inspiration, but as insult. He didn't want to be better. He wanted her gone. And in his mind, killing her wasn't evil. It was necessary. This is the danger of unchecked ego. Of a society that glorifies success but ignores the cost. Of a family that lifts one child, while another drowns in silence. Final reflection. The house that love built, and hate destroyed. There is a photo that haunts Bolivia. It shows Gloria and Omar, side by side, in their Taekwondo uniforms. Smiling. Strong. Together. It was taken just a year before the murders. In that photo you see a family. A future. A bond. And then you realize. The same hands that once trained together. One would later hold a knife. The other, a dream. This is not just a story of crime. It is a warning. That love, without balance, can create monsters. That silence, without intervention, can breed violence. And that even in the most ordinary homes, the most extraordinary evil can grow. Gloria Adrizola did not die in vain. Her story is a call to see the pain before it explode. Yes. To celebrate all children, not just the champions. To protect the vulnerable, especially from those who claim to love them. And to remember, the greatest betrayal is not from a stranger. It is from the one who shared your table, who called you family, and who killed you in the dark. This was the house in Cochabamba, where dreams were born, and where they were buried. This was the betrayal, and it will not be forgotten.